Hello there, and welcome to this episode of the Star Wars Universe podcast. I'm your host, James, and this month, I need to start with an apology. I said I would release the interview with Hayley, and I honestly don't know where the last month has gone. There's been a lot of Star Wars, which I'll get into, but it's just life has run away with me. So that episode will be coming out, I do promise you, and I'm going to try and get it out within a couple of weeks of this episode dropping. So, warning for anyone who is going to listen to it, the sound quality is awful on my end. I don't know if it's for the whole recording. I do know it's certainly for the first 15 minutes or so, but I will be releasing it unedited and in its terrible glory. So, apologies for not releasing that before now. But this month, we have had a lot going on. We have the month of May. It is Star Wars month. We have May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th. There is a 6th one as well. I can't remember what it is. I'm not going to lie to you. But I have had possibly my busiest month in Star Wars for quite some time. I have had a lot that I've enjoyed, and actually very little that I've been meh about. There's nothing I haven't liked in some form or fashion. This month it's going to be probably a bit of a shorter episode, just because I was hoping to have the last Sacred Jedi Text Jedi Council member, Todd Zedelak, on. But our diaries haven't aligned. I have it in the diary for next month. That interview will be coming. I'm really looking forward to a conversation with Todd. And I do have his update for this month. So, this month, I don't really know what to talk about, really. There's been so much. Andor, Season 2, Tales of the Underworld, just May the 4th celebrations. This year, I didn't go down the route of buying my year's worth of comics, mainly because I still have most of my comics from last year. And a little spoiler for later, I have not read any comics this month. I have been far too busy with other things. But firstly, a little peek behind the curtain. I am in my mid to late 30s. And 5 years ago, I made the decision to go back to university, or college, for listeners across the pond. And I had it confirmed in the middle of this month that I have passed my final module and I'm going to be graduating. So, little pat on the back for me. And I am very, very proud of myself for that achievement. My workload feels, at this point in time, like it's just decreased massively. So, hopefully, I'll be able to spend a little bit more time on the podcast. Hopefully, I'll be able to have some time to figure out how I'm going to make this better, how I'm going to make this work more than it already is. And I'm really looking forward to the next journey of the podcast. Over the next couple of years, things are going to look different, but hopefully you'll be along for the ride and hopefully you'll enjoy where it ends up. But that is not Star Wars related, is it? So this month, where to begin? Let's start with Andor. Andor Season 2. We have had me on the podcast relentlessly since the first episode saying that Andor is not my favourite. And that tone has changed in the last couple of episodes of the podcast as I've rewatched Andor Season 1 and as I've watched Andor Season 2. There is a huge amount of love and appreciation and awe I have for this series now. The cinematography, the acting, the story, it's just fantastic. And whilst I'm up here on my soapbox talking about this, I really want to... I've been toying whether I bring this up or not because I know it is going to be divisive to a lot of people. Not only do I want to send a huge thank you to Tony Gilroy, Diego Luna, and all of the other cast members, I also want to send a huge thank you for Andor Season 2, Season 1 and Season 2, to Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy has come under fire so much in the last 10 years. I think in the first few years, it was probably a little bit justified. I genuinely think it probably was a bit justified. The sequel trilogy has its problems. Individually, they are perfectly decent films. As a trilogy, they're not good. It's not cohesive. It doesn't know where it's going. Doesn't know what it's doing. But since then, I think Kathleen Kennedy has steered the Star Wars ship fantastically. And we've had the likes of Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, Tony Gilroy, and even Leslie Headland. We've had them create different projects, different styles of TV shows and movies, and just created different Star Wars. And for me, that is only a good thing. We have a whole host of new Star Wars fans in the fandom. And to see different people out there, and there are a lot of loud voices, but I don't think there's actually that many people criticising. And I saw this a lot with Andor Season 2. I'm staying on topic, mostly, with, Tony Gilroy, just give him Star Wars. This is perfect. If every project was Andor, you are excluding the very people that Star Wars was created for. There is a place in Star Wars for Andor. There absolutely is. And I want to see more adult content like Andor. But let's not forget, George Lucas, when he created Star Wars, came up with the idea in 1975, 1976, and it released in 1977. It was for kids. And I think a lot of people have seen Star Wars grow up with them, and now they struggle because it's not for them. The new stuff isn't for them. It's for the new fans and the kids who are enjoying it. There are, as I say, there is plenty of adult material out there. Adult themed material. There's probably plenty of adult fan fiction out there, but I'm not getting into that. And let's not forget, Skeleton Crew. Prime example of this. I went in with absolutely zero expectations of Skeleton Crew. I looked at it, I thought, it's childlike, it's the Goonies in space, it's all these different things. And I just had a really low bar. And you know what? I ended up thoroughly enjoying that series. It was just good fun. And that's kind of the attitude I try and go in to most things with. And it gets clouded every now and again by the noise around it and the review bombing and all the rest of it. But I always try and go in with a positive mindset of, I want to enjoy this. This is a thing in the thing I love. Why am I going in with any other attitude? So that's my little soapbox rant for this month. Andor Season 2. For me, 4 arcs, slow start, but everything just built and built and built and built right up until the finale. And what a show. What a fantastic show. You had the comedy elements coming in with K2SO. You had Luthen Rail just being this weird midpoint between Saw Gerrera and Mon Mothma, but was also kind of tarnished with the same brush as Saw because he was deemed to be too extreme. You had Mon Mothma, who is just fantastic. You had the recasting of Bail Organa. It was that initial, 5 seconds. Yeah, it's Bail. Yeah, cool. Fine. Let's get on with this. Let's roll. We've had it before. Anyone who is a fan of Star Wars more than likely will enjoy most of the Marvel stuff and other fandoms as well. I am generalizing. If you don't like Marvel for whatever reason, or DC, fine, I apologize. But my point stands. We have had recastings throughout everything. And I believe it was just down to Jimmy Smits not being available. I don't know why. I haven't looked that far into it. But it's just it was fine. It was absolutely fine. I didn't look at him at any point going, "You're not Jimmy Smits." I looked at him and went, "Oh, Bail Organa's in this scene. Cool. The man you don't like is here." Hilarious, K2SO. Love it. The ending. How do I talk about the ending without spoilers? I don't know if I can. So, if you haven't seen Andor yet, A, go and watch it. B, skip forward probably about 5 minutes, because I'm going to spoil the ending. Bix. Bix being alive. Well, we kind of knew Bix was alive. We kind of always assumed she was alive, and it's alluded to that she's alive. But who she has with her. And I'm not talking about B2. B2 Emo. I love that droid. And I was so happy to see that he was happy. I loved it. It almost brought a tear to my eye. You have her son. Her son with Cassian. So we do get the potential for a continuation of that story. And I've seen the theories online. It's not Poe. It's not Poe. Don't do that to me. Poe has parents in the Aftermath trilogy, I want to say. I know you meet Snap Wexley's parents in there, but in that trilogy, but I'm sure Poe's parents are in there somewhere as well. I believe he is also born the day the Empire falls on Endor. I think he's actually born on Endor, I think. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. You have Cassian going off to meet the guy from the beginning of Rogue One. And that last shot of him swaggering across the Yavin 4 base off to meet his contact to find out about the Death Star, Dedra being stuck in a prison cell on Arkiva 5 or something very similar, contributing to the Death Star. It's just beautiful symmetry. And that is a constant through Star Wars, symmetry. And it's wonderful. And that's the end of the spoiler section. I'm not really going to say anything else about the end of Andor Season 2. K2SO though. I'm at a point now. Well, I just accept I love droids. Never thought I'd say that. I know which one. I've always enjoyed R2. Sassy little thing. I've always enjoyed Chopper. Psychopathic maniac. Love him. Absolutely love him. I've always liked the bad droids. 000, BT-1, love them. Never really enjoyed the good droids. I still don't like 3PO. He's annoying. I think the first good droid where I really kind of fell in love with was BT-1. BT-1? BD-1. BD-1. The Fallen Order droid. I'm struggling on names today for some reason, and apologies for it. But I think playing through Fallen Order, and you're so invested in Cal Kestis as a character, and BD-1. This is going to annoy me now. I'm going to pause and find out what it is. I was right. BD-1. So yeah, and he's such an integral part of Cal's character. And he's obviously integral to the story and moving it all along and all the rest of it. And he's just an awesome little droid. Loved it. I don't like BB-8. Don't know why. I just find him really annoying. But I'm liking more and more droids. And it's It's worrying me, but in a good way. I've never liked droids. But yeah, what else have we had? We've had Tales of the Underworld was released. 6 episodes, 3 and 3 per character, as usual. This series was focused on Asajj. First 3 episodes. Second 3 was on Cad Bane. These are not critical watching. They're just not. I would say outside of the first scene of episode 1, the rest of the Asajj story has no bearing on anything yet. I enjoyed it because I enjoy Asajj Ventress as a character, and I enjoyed it because it follows Dark Disciple and it answers some questions around her surviving. Outside of that, I just didn't really care. It was fine. It was good. As I say, I enjoyed it well enough. I liked it. It adds a little bit of context to her story. But not essential watching. Watch it if you enjoy Asajj Ventress. The second 3-episode arc, Cad Bane. Again, it's not essential. Cad Bane is a cool character. You don't need his backstory. He's just this Western throwback of a bounty hunter. But you learn a bit more about him. You learn a little bit more about his past. You learn about his family, and both biological and found family. And it's just a fun 3 episodes. I would say the Cad Bane stuff is more easily watchable. Again, not necessary viewing. Perfectly good. Whereas Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You see some really important stuff happen, and it fills in some quite important gaps in people's stories. And they're just really good. This one just didn't quite hit home for me. I think there's an element of I don't need to know the backstory of every bounty hunter, because I just need them to turn up and be an antagonist. They're never the main antagonist. They're always the henchman's boss sort of thing. Like if you're going through a game, before you get to the big boss, the one who's really calling the shots, you get the mini bosses, don't you? And they're just a mini boss. So I just don't need to know that much about them. The Dooku episodes and the Ahsoka, you have your protagonist and your antagonist. Key characters. That is important. Tales of the Empire, Morgan Elsbeth, again, kind of a mini boss. I'm trying to think who the other one was. That's what I didn't remember. Barriss, not even a mini boss. Again, interesting way. It's wrapping up a story rather than filling in the gaps at the back. We don't need to know more about Barriss than I think personally we have way too much already. But it finishes off her story, and it tells the beginning of Morgan Elsbeth's story. But yeah, outside of they're still good. They're still good stories. We still get a little bit of Thrawn. We still get a little bit of different characters that we kind of go, oh, there's the big boss. We get a little bit more information about the Inquisitors. We get a little bit more information about various other bits and pieces. But overall, did we need them? No. Am I glad we have them? Yes. It just adds more to the overall world and universe and fandom. And it's cool. I do enjoy it. But yeah, I've been talking a lot about the various things that have been coming out. And I haven't spoken about the High Republic properly in a little while. And I'm not going to. I'm going to probably do an episode where it's the central focus. And I want to do a Phase 3 kind of conversation. And then a High Republic overall conversation a little bit later in the year. We have, I think it's Trials of the Jedi coming out in about a week from this episode coming out. I think it's the 6th of June it comes out. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. And I need to catch up on the comics. The comics are an integral part to the overall story of the High Republic. I need to catch up with them. But outside of that, there's not been huge earth-shattering things happening in Star Wars. I hope everyone had a good May the 4th. I hope everyone enjoyed the re-release of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I hope everyone had a good celebration. We talked about celebration last episode. It was a good one. It was alright. Let's turn our attention to what I've been up to this month in Star Wars. And we're going to start, as always, with games. And as always, I have not played any Jedi Survivor. I am going to keep trying to play it. I want to get it done this year. That's my target. I got it for Christmas. I didn't start playing it until January because I was ill. But I do want to get it done this year. So I'm going to need to dedicate some time to it at some point. So, check back in next month. But don't hold your breath. Galaxy of Heroes. This is something I have done quite a bit on. I have, at this point in time, I have Ahsoka Fulcrum to Relic 9. I have Galactic Legend Ahsoka to Relic 7 with her ultimate. I am very pleased. It's a weird feeling when you finish a grind for a Galactic Legend. You can kind of often feel a little bit sort of it's the down. You grind and grind and grind and work and work and work, and you get the thing. You get it all the way up to where you need it, and you get the ultimate, and then you kind of sit there and go, oh, now what? I don't really have any energy to go for anything else. Not this time. I already have, and I'm well on my way into my next grind, and that is Galactic Legend Jabba the Hutt. I am at 12 of 16 requirements, and I need Skiff Guard Lando, who is now Relic 0, Gear 13. I need him at Relic 5. Aura Singh, I need 2 more bits of gear at Gear 12 to take her into Relics. And I need her at Relic 6. Fennec Shand is now Relic 6. And I need her at Relic 7. And then I need to do Mob Enforcer, who is currently at Gear 12 with 1 piece of gear attached to her out of 6. And I need her to be Relic 3. I'm hoping this isn't going to take too long. Although I have burnt through all of my resources in the Ahsoka grind. So I'm also trying to rebuild those a little bit, spending them as I get them a little bit. It's a juggle. I am also acutely aware that I want to get Bo-Katan next, after Jabba. And as soon as I am on the grind for actual shards to unlock Jabba, that's going to be it. That's Bo-Katan. And then after that, we'll see. I might go for Galactic Legend Leia or Lord Vader. Probably not Obi-Wan Kenobi, just because I'm so far away from it. It's a long grind for Obi-Wan Kenobi from where I'm at the moment. I've got like 3 out of 16 requirements, and none of them are cheap. None of them are easy. And that's going to be my last Galactic Legend, I think. I managed to get Ahsoka pretty quickly after release. So I'm really, really pleased with that. I'm really enjoying the game. I'm winning in the Galactic Challenge, the player versus player stuff. I am an active participant in my guild, and I'm just loving the game. Really, really loving the game. But that's kind of it on the game side of things. Looking at collectibles, I have got another stack of reference books. So the guy I picked the first stack up from on Facebook Marketplace, he messaged me saying, would you like some more? And I said, yes, please. This one is less of a good pile. There's a lot of stuff I don't even recognize in there, like reference books I just didn't even know existed. But we do have a few sort of making ofs of the original trilogy, which is pretty cool. But I need to go through those. I'm going to do a couple of different YouTube videos on those, so keep an eye on the YouTube channel for those. They'll be coming up in the next month or so, and that's mainly because I only have 4 more cards left to get out of the Star Wars Unlimited Jump to Lightspeed. I need 2 legendaries and 2 rares. I need Nabat Village, which is a base, which is a rare base. I need the Ghost, which is a legendary. I need Shadowcaster, which is a legendary, and There Is No Escape, which is a rare. What I've also started doing, a little bit of a shameless plug, as I mentioned the YouTube, head over there, hit subscribe, tick the bell icon. It will just help me out more than anything. I'm also on TikTok as well. I've started uploading pack openings onto TikTok, so find me there at StarwarsYOUniverse, and on Instagram as well, StarwarsYOUniverse. So keep an eye out, give us a follow, and drop a like whenever I drop something on there. At the moment, I'm kind of dropping stuff on TikTok every other day, and it's going all right. It's going all right. I've interacted with a lot of different people, and I'm hoping that's going to open things up for interviews and stuff as well. So we shall see. We shall see what happens. Keep your eyes peeled on the socials. I am also on Twitter, or X, at StarwarsYOUpod. So I'll stick everything in the show notes of the podcast. But as I said earlier, comics-wise, nothing this month. I want to get some more comics done over the course of the next month. But I've done an awful lot of driving, haven't had much time just sitting around, not doing much. So it's been a lot more audiobook focused this month. And on that front, I've finished Fatal Alliance. I am ready for the Spark Jedi Council Sacred Jedi Texts meeting about Fatal Alliance. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that conversation. I'm sure we all have thoughts and feelings about that book. I read Into the Light. I listened to Into the Light, and this book broke me. Genuinely broke me. I'm not going to say spoilers or anything like that, but if you've listened to the book and you've listened to the podcast, you know how I feel about a certain character. And I'm just going to leave it there. Fantastic book. Really, really good. It's set on Kashyyyk, which I love. I love Kashyyyk. It's such a cool planet. But the ending broke me. Genuinely. I messaged Hayley and I put it into the Spark Jedi Council chat. I was devastated. I was upset for genuinely a full day. I was thinking about it. I then read Crimson Climb. It's something I've been meaning to read for quite some time. Hayley's recommended it in the past. Kira and her Crimson Dawn journey, from where we see her at the beginning of Solo to where we see her at the end of Solo, just fills in that whole backstory. And I loved it. I loved the book. I flew through it. It was a really, really good book. Really, really good. I really enjoyed the Crimson comic arcs as well. Kira is an interesting character. What can I say? Just a very, very interesting character. And then to finish off this month, I also read Wayseeker, the Acolyte novel, centering on Venestra Rowe and the Jedi Trinity, whose name I can't... Indira? Carrie-Anne Moss's character from The Acolyte. It was a good book. I was really unsure when I first started it because it's a point of view book from Venestra. Well, it kind of is and it isn't. You spend a lot of time in Venestra Rowe's head, and it's written from her perspective an awful lot of the time. But then it jumps into your normal book narrator setting. So it bounces around a little bit. But after the first couple of chapters of it happened, I was like, this is a bit weird. I'm not sure I like this. I just let it go. And fantastic book. If you're a fan of The Acolyte, you're a fan of Venestra Row, specifically Venestra Row, you are going to like this book, and I would highly recommend it. Really, really good book. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's just a good mystery story as well. Like, Star Wars do mystery story books brilliantly. And that's it on the reading. Well, I say that's it on the reading. That's 3.5 books in 1 month. That's what I mean. I don't think I've ever done that anywhere else. Not without them being like 5-minute stories on Audible. I had a fantastic time. I've had a great time reading Star Wars books. It's just, I've burnt through all my credits more than anything on Audible. I have one more. I've got the Aftermath final book, but I needed a week or so off Star Wars, really, just to cleanse the palate, as it were. I thoroughly enjoyed all 4 of them. Really, really good. And it's 3 off of the canon tick list, and it's 1 off of the Legends tick list. So, progress. Happy with that. TV-wise, I've obviously spoken about it at length already. Andor Season 2, Episodes 4 to 11. I cannot praise this show high enough. Absolutely fantastic. Leads directly into Rogue One. I would quite like to, at some point, find like 2 days where I can sit down and watch Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, Rogue One, and A New Hope, all back to back. I doubt it will ever actually happen. My life does not seem to ever be that free for that length of time. But we'll see. We'll see. You never know. Live in hope. And Tales of the Underworld, Episodes 1 to 6. Already spoken about them. They're fine. They're not necessary. But I'm glad they exist. I don't really have much more to say about them. And events-wise, I actually went to the London Card Show at Sandown Racecourse. So they are actually, I think they've got one more show at Sandown, and then they're actually moving to the Excel Centre in London, which is great for them, terrible for me, because it's a pain to get to the Excel Centre in London for me. But I will still go. I got in and I found no Star Wars Unlimited in the entire place. Everything was Pokemon, which my son did great from. I spent quite a lot of money buying him Pokemon cards. But that's kind of it for everything I've been up to this month. So let's turn our attention to what you guys have been up to. And again, I've been terrible and really, really bad at social media in general and haven't got much feedback, really. But what I do have is my good friends at the Spark Jedi Council, who this month, just to mix it up a little bit, we're going to start with Todd. So, next month's guest, Todd Sedlak. Very much looking forward to having you on the show, Todd. And in the last month, he sent me a message saying that he's finished Andor Season 1 rewatch, and he's watched Andor Season 2. Top tier television for me. He's also started playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes again, which is great. He's been working on Starkiller prerequisites. He has Darth Talon at Relic 5 and Dash Rendar at Relic 4. And he's working on getting the others to 7 stars and beyond. So the requirements there are Mara Jade and Dr. Aphra for Starkiller. They all need to be at Relic 5. But he's such a good character. Starkiller in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is a phenomenal character, Todd. He is well worth the grind. He unlocks a whole host of different things for you to do. He's my backup. He's the backup to my backup, but he's a top tier character. He has read Legacy of Vader 3 and 4, and he's still liking this series so far. I need to catch up with Legacy of Vader. I didn't realise 4 was out yet. Blimey, I'm very behind. He's read The High Republic, Fear of the Jedi, number 1 to 4. Again, I've got 2 of those to catch up on now. The High Republic, Into the Light, good read, and I have to say Geode is a hero. And then in brackets, you know how much it hurts me to say that. Todd, I'm going to put this out there now. I'm going to talk to you about Geode next month. We're probably not going to talk about it much, but he will be brought up. Because we have very differing opinions on this. I think you are starting to maybe wane a little bit. I'm not. I'm steadfast in my love for Geode. He saw Revenge of the Sith in theatres twice. Very cool. He finished Fatal Alliance for the Sacred Jedi texts. And his vintage collection Heir to the Empire 3-pack has arrived. Very, very cool. I want to know who is in the 3-pack, Todd. Heir to the Empire, so I'm going to guess Thrawn, Joruus C'baoth, and Luke. Why not? Let's just guess those three. And he also mentioned that he's got the AMC Theatres Darth Vader popcorn bucket that he ordered through their website. And that's now arrived. I couldn't get one. We don't have quite the same AMC popcorn buckets, but they do special popcorn buckets and stuff at the Cineworld I go to. Couldn't get one for episode 3, which was disappointing. Our next bit of feedback is going to be from good friend Brian V. Klein.
My updates for my Star Wars recently is obviously I finished Andor, and I was one of those guys that I had the time after finishing episode 12 of the season. I went right into watching Rogue One. Let me see, in my literature, I'm all caught up on all the novels now and everything, so I've gone back and I'm starting to listen to some of the Thrawn stuff, and I've got Vision of the Future about halfway done with that. My collecting is I got a bunch of Funko Pops and stuff like that from Celebration, and just the new stuff that's come out, and same with all the Hasbro stuff. And my Rebels rewatch, I got done with season 3, and I'm halfway through season 4 on my Clone Wars rewatch, and that's about it. Thanks. Oh, and I also got on 4K Blu-ray the 4K 77, 4K 80, and 4K 83, which are the original theatrical releases from 77, 80, and 83, and they're upgraded as much as possible to 4K. They look fantastic. I watched Empire on its 45th anniversary, but I gotta say, for as much as I love them, the special editions, the stuff they've added in some of the places, especially with like the special effects and smoothing out some of the like Harryhausen type, like the Rancor looks terrible, and some of the other stuff looks terrible. But I do appreciate like having the original Cantina scene and Lopty Neck and Yub Nub. But other than that, it's just easier sometimes just to watch this stuff on Disney Plus than to have to pop a disc in all the time. So.
Thank you, Brian, as always, and I'm glad that you've returned to your voice notes. I don't know why, just like them. And in Yub Nub we trust. I love Yub Nub. Who doesn't love Yub Nub? A lot of people don't like Yub Nub, to be fair. But our last update is from Hayley Hobbs. And Hayley has been up to a little bit, actually. She has read the Black Spire book, The High Republic, Valiant Vow, The Acolyte, Wayseeker. No audiobooks or comics this month, but I know Hayley has been very, very busy over on the Marvel side of things. TV and movies, she has watched Light and Magic Season 2. That is something I still need to watch. And Tales of the Underworld and Andor Season 2. So you can hear Hayley's thoughts on Andor Season 2 on the Source Pages podcast, as well as a few other different places. And I know she enjoyed it. We've spoken a bit about it. The only other thing I would mention is obviously I've been talking to a good friend of the cast, Josh Hoyt, who we were just fanboying out over DMs and about Andor Season 2. And his initial overall reaction really is, it's not just great Star Wars, it's great television. So, Josh, could not agree with you more, my friend, and I'm sure we will catch up soon. But that's going to do it for this month. This podcast is coming to an end, so if you're still here, thank you. I do appreciate it. And if you want to leave a comment or leave a review wherever you're listening to it on Apple, Spotify, whatever, please do give the podcast a follow and give us a follow at all the socials and the YouTube. It really, really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. And I want to have more conversations with people about Star Wars, whether that be Star Wars Unlimited, TV, films, animation, whatever, books, comics. I do it all, so I have opinions on it all, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation with anyone around Star Wars. Thank you for listening, and until next month, may the Force be with you always.